Yo, what's going on people? It's your boy Huncho, back at you again with another video. And let's just be real, paedophiles come in all shapes and sizes, but if there's one thing that we must agree on, it's the fact that with all the information we have access to nowadays, it really has showed us how many paedophiles hold positions of power, or how many paedophiles are in positions of authority. Now I'm unsure why this is the case, and I remember seeing a comment on my video about the BBC presenter who got jailed for 40 separate sexual offences, and the person said there was plenty of paedophiles out there and the BBC is just another part of the problem, and this is true. That's why I said they come in all shapes and sizes, but in the news we're seeing time and time again people in these quote-unquote respectable positions, they end up being paedophiles or child sexual abusers a little bit more than often. So this next story we're about to get into follows a police officer who has recently been jailed after he was caught talking to his colleague who posed as an underage girl, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. Recently in court, it was heard that in February of 2020, 59-year-old custody investigation officer Bryn Majid, who worked for Cheshire Police, had been on the Kik Messenger app, where he went under the name Copper762. It was said that he would spark up a conversation with someone who he thought was a 12-year-old girl by the name of Jess, but this turned out to be an undercover police officer who was investigating. To start, Bryn would initially engage in a general chat with the officer who posed as the 12-year-old girl, but as the months proceeded, they became more sexually explicit. On the 17th of April 2020, Bryn was said to have sent a picture of his penis while in a quote-unquote work environment, along with a 2-second clip in which he winks at the camera. 4 days later, on the 21st of April, Bryn would send a message which read, "Can I ask you something? Can I ask to see what you look like? No pressure though, not if you don't feel comfortable." The court then heard that Bryn asked her to move the chat to Skype, where they continued messaging each other, and he would go on to say that he would want to meet up with her. During this conversation, the prosecution would also go on to explain that Bryn described himself as a big softie, and he would say if they did go on to meet up, they would hold hands, and he said he would show her how to kiss. Skype video calls would continue, and in these conversations it was said that he would wave, blow kisses, and would also attempt to voice chat. It was also heard that Bryn had told this police officer how to perform a sex act on herself. Of course, he was thinking that it was this 12-year-old, and he went on to suggest that she should try it. The prosecution added he also told the girl, "I'm going to send you a kick pic of what I'm eventually going to put in you." They continued, he sent her a message saying she was looking lovely and said he was slightly older than her, but nonetheless, would she like to meet up one day? He said any meeting would be their little secret. Bryn was also said to have said he would like to see her and asked Jess to send pictures to his email address saying he would love to see her boobs. On the 24th of April, he even told her that he couldn't wait for lockdown to be lifted so that he could meet her. The prosecution said he asked quote-unquote Jess if she would tidy his house in her underwear or nude and that he would pay her. It was then said that he sent 3 images of him standing at work with his penis exposed. Bryn would continue to send explicit messages to Jess and told her he would make love to her, and even sent her a link to a porn video of a man in his 60s engaged in sexual activities with a girl between the age of 16 and 20. On the 1st of May, it was finally time for police to make their move, and they went on to raid where Bryn was staying, and here police seized a Dell laptop and an iPhone. Upon examining the electronic devices, they discovered 151 images and videos which they would class as illegal, which included 24 images and videos of child rape. Some of those rape videos involved children as young as 5 or 6. On the 26th of June 2020, he would go on to admit that the images were his, but in regards to Jess, he said he never had any intentions to touch her, and he said that that was part of an online fantasy that began in 2010. He would also go on to admit attempting to engage in sexual activity with a child and 3 counts of downloading images. After the sentencing hearing, which was wrapped up recently, Bryn was handed a 20-month prison sentence and must sign to the sex offenders register for the next 10 years. He was also made the subject of a sexual harm prevention order, which must run for 10 years. And so, as you can see, again, another person in a position of power and authority seemingly ending up being a paedophile. Now, what is interesting is the fact that he would go on to admit that an online fantasy began in 2010, and seeing as he's 59 years old, that would have made him, let's say, 10 years younger, so 49 years old. So realistically, he's admitting for the past 10 years he's been doing this kind of thing online, from what I've read in the report. So it just goes to show you that he's been hiding this secret for around the past 10 years, if not probably longer. Now, luckily, this wasn't a real 12-year-old and he was being investigated by police, but can you imagine if he's watching child rape videos, what he really would have done to this child if they met up? Now, he says he didn't have any intention, but what was found on his electronic devices really does cast doubt on that. And either way, he shouldn't be meeting up with 12-year-olds anyway, because at your big age of 59, to be meeting up with 12-year-olds is pretty weird, to say the least. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Give the video a little like, and if you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Ape Huncho, and I'm out.